So I had a video recorded already, but this little Timu fucking mic is cheap, y'all. So I had to redo the video. But what I'm speaking on is first up, how y'all doing? Hello, good evening, good morning. Well, I'm not gonna keep on saying good morning. That's one thing. See, there's a lot of things I'm learning still, y'all, and I just want to bring it to y'all. I feel like I'm gonna start posting videos like these more about what I'm truly learning, and I just been how do I say it? I've been just stuck on the rock, really meditating and learning and whatnot. And I will must say, as I just speak in these videos, I may just go off one point to another. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I've been meditating. It's cool. You feel what I'm saying? I love it. Um, I would say for meditating, after about 30 minutes is when it actually starts activating. If you sit there, first off, okay, how do you meditate? Boom, bam, sit in silence, motherfucker. Stop talking. Stop checking your dick on your phone. Stop smoking. Hold on, now you can smoke a joint. Uh, stop doing shit. Just sit there in silence for 30 minutes. Close your eyes. Sit back in a relaxed position for about 30 minutes, and I guarantee you will start actually activating your your meditating benefits. What I mean by meditating benefits, basically, is what I'm saying is you will start talking to your inner, your God within, your divine spark, your infinite, whatever you perceive to call it. You start talking with that, and you get the solution to whatever problem you may have perceived that you had perceived to be a problem, or you just may just better yourself as far as calming yourself and have better thoughts. You may just calm your thoughts better. You may have been having bad thoughts the whole time, and then as soon as you decide to meditate for 35 to 45 minutes, then as you awaken from that meditation state, then you go ahead and have you're in a calmer state, and you have calmer thoughts, and your mind is calmer, and you're able to go through the rest of the day functioning as you want to function. Understanding that the more you meditate, the more that you are consciousness itself, that you are Christ consciousness, that you are being, you are awareness, you are focus itself, your awareness being aware. I think I'm saying too much. At this point, stop me if I'm wrong, stop me if I sound crazy, stop me if I need to stop smoking weed. Nah, I ain't never gonna stop doing that. Look, I'm gonna be putting Gnostic or Gnostic. I don't even know how to say the fucking word I'm speaking. Look, it's what I aligned with. I resonated with what I see, and this is things that I already had in my head that I've already been getting downloads from meditation before I even got into this teaching. Um, I went down my rabbit hole of teaching through, YouTube, sources of Reddit, books and whatnot. I should make videos about books and the sources that I've gotten to, but YouTube is still the go-to because it's the source. It's like the middleman of sources. It's YouTube. Um, so I'll be playing sources that I have other ways and other places that I've looked at, but we're gonna be playing videos through YouTube on this video. It's dark outside. I'm outside in the weather, nature, getting it in. You hardly can see me. No time for the racist jokes. I swear. Nah, I'm just playing. But even when it comes to races or color, we're all one. So people that see divide and racism, which is a lot, shouldn't see that. Be whole with you. If you're whole within, then you'll be whole without, and you will see everything whole without. The internal equals the external. So whatever you feel on the internal is what you will get on the external. How do you feel right now as we speak? How do you feel? And I'm gonna put a frequency chart up sometime, whenever, throughout this video, and we can go over it. I'm not even gonna say correct names, the names that I would go by as far as frequency. You know, I could say some off the top of my head, a blissful frequency, peaceful, joyful, fully enlightened, guilty, fear, uh, pride, uh, yeah, you get the gist of it. So yeah, these things that I've learned though, just they resonated and aligned with me so heavily. And shout out to 607. If y'all know who I'm talking about, y'all know who I'm talking about. He inspired me to just get back on this channel and start speaking what I already believed in for a long time and just never really spoke on this part.
Moment when the soul could be captured and recycled. You'll see why they believed reincarnation isn't the path of spiritual progress we've been told, but the very mechanism of the trap, and the hidden signs that reveal when you're being lured back into it. Most people will never hear this. Most will keep walking toward the light, unaware of who built it or why. Perhaps the prison of the demiurge is not confined to this world at all, but stretches even beyond death itself. A hall of mirrors, tricking your soul into returning again and again, replaying life after life. What if death is not the end, not the beginning, but the greatest illusion of all? Because the truth you're about to hear won't just change how you see death. It may hand you the very keys to escape the prison that has bound humanity since the very beginning. Long before our modern religions took shape, the ancient world was alive with whispers of hidden realms, rival gods, and secret knowledge, and among them, the Gnostics offered a warning unlike any other. In the desert caves of Nag Hammadi in Egypt, hidden away until their discovery in 1945, lay texts that shattered the comfortable stories told by priests and emperors. These were the Gnostic writings, fragments of a spiritual tradition that dared to say, the world you see around you is not the true creation of the real God. The Gnostics spoke of a higher, infinite realm, the Pleroma, where pure light and consciousness dwell. From this fullness emerged Sophia, the embodiment of divine wisdom. Yet in her yearning to create on her own, moved by curiosity, by desire, by a solitary act apart from the source, she brought forth a flawed being, the demiurge. The demiurge, ignorant of the greater realms above him, declared himself the only God. He shaped matter into a vast, glittering prison, populating it with archons, cosmic wardens who govern the planets, stars, and cycles of human life. Here lies the heart of the Gnostic warning. According to them, the soul is not meant to endlessly cycle through birth and death. True life belongs in the eternal realms of light, not in the shadows of this material world. Yet the demiurge's system recycles souls, binding them to the wheel of reincarnation, so they continue to fuel his dominion. This claim was radical for its time. In nearly every religion of the ancient world, whether the pagan cults of Rome or the rising Christian church, death was portrayed as a passage into divine reward or punishment. But the Gnostics dared to say something far more unsettling, that death itself could be the snare. Other traditions carried echoes of this. In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, known as the Bardo Thodol, the soul is warned of dazzling lights and illusions that appear after death, designed to lure it back into rebirth. Even the early Christian thinker Origen entertained the idea of pre-existence and cycles of embodiment, teachings later condemned as heresy. But why such eagerness to erase these teachings? Because fear of death is the strongest chain of all, and once a soul breaks it, it slips beyond control. A soul convinced it must return again and again to learn lessons is a soul unlikely to rebel. But a soul that remembers that it was never meant to be trapped, that it belongs to eternity, becomes dangerous. Dangerous not only to the rulers of this world, but to the demiurge itself. The Gnostics saw themselves as exiles, wanderers in a counterfeit creation, carrying the spark of a forgotten origin. Their mission was not to perfect the cycle, but to break free from it, and their texts offered cryptic instructions for how the awakened could navigate death without falling for the luminous snares of the demiurge. So if the demiurge's trap is real, if death itself is the doorway to a recycling system, what can you actually do about it? The Gnostics never intended this knowledge to be abstract. It was a map, a guide for those who dared to awaken in a world of sleep. And the first step is not about waiting for death, it's about remembering now. Ask yourself, who am I beyond this body, beyond this story, beyond the roles I play? Each time you peel back a layer, the hold loosens. For the demiurge can only bind what identifies with form. It can only ensnare the self that vibrates at its frequency, the self that clings to labels, fears, and unfinished desires. This is why the Gnostics spoke of cultivating gnosis, direct inner knowing, meditation, prayer, deep contemplation, even moments of silent awareness, watching your own thoughts. These were not empty rituals. They were training grounds, rehearsals for the soul. When you learn to hold presence in the now, you are less likely to be deceived by the dazzling illusions later. Here's a practice. The next time you close your eyes, imagine the tunnel of light before you. Feel its pull. Hear the voices calling. Then ask, is this true light or a projection? Practice discerning. Feel the difference between something that dazzles and something that awakens, between something that demands and something that liberates. This inner rehearsal plants seeds of remembrance that may bloom when the moment comes. The Gnostics also whispered about passwords and seals, symbols of inner authority. You may not need literal secret words, but you do need recognition. Recognition that you are a child of the infinite source, not a subject of the demiurge. Recognition that you belong to the pleroma, not the prison. That recognition, held firmly, is itself a key. So live as if you are already beyond the trap, detached from cycles of fear, from endless seeking of external validation. Practice this by releasing earthly attachments, by letting illusions dissolve, by remembering that your essence cannot be harmed. When you begin to live this way, life itself changes. You stop fearing death because you recognize it as just another mask. You stop clinging to reincarnation as a path of growth and begin tasting freedom even here. The Gnostic path is not about escaping the world through despair, but about seeing through the world with clarity. Every moment of awareness is a crack in the cage. Every act of remembrance is a step beyond the wheel.
Alright, I'm back. Oh, wait. I'm back, y'all. Had to delete some storage, and I also walked into the light. Um, but as I was saying, yeah, last part, I was saying, 607 helped me, for me, he helped guided me. What's the right way to say it? When I seen him post what he was posting, I inspired myself. He helped me inspire myself. Thank you. Yes, that's right. He helped me inspire myself because what I'm trying to also do while uploading these videos is learning in the process to show y'all that, of course, I can be perfect in my imperfection. Yeah, I know what Annalie Chopper said. Annalie the Great said in that interview, and I resonate with how he said it, his phrase. So I resonate with that. Um, to be perfect with your imperfection, because no, we can't be perfect, but we was made from perfection. Perfection being divine, however you want to consider it, God, whoever. We was made in God's likeness and have the divine spark within us. So if we always go within, we always know the true answer, the true blueprint to us, our life. And I believe that Of course, that's how you attain your desired reality when it comes to manifestations, always understanding within. If you have to go deep, bury yourself within with hella meditation for days on end, it is what it is. Understanding, believing that the land of the free is through emotion. The land of the free is through emotion. Not your thoughts, but whatever thought you had that's convicted that you want to identify yourself as, that's who you are. This whole illusion is a play. Look at it as if God himself or itself or whatever you would perceive it, God is taking a deep slumber and using every one of us in his likeness to be in his dream. I mean, you could look at it in plenty of different ways, you know what I'm saying? But it just seems like there's so much death and decay, but yet people don't want that. I believe that's what people do want. They do want death and decay, right? There's so much destruction. There's so many, what you see in the NBA. NBA have so many gambling problems going on right now. So much money driven shit going on right now. And then we say we don't want that. But we truly do. Whatever you do desire, you will have. Not to say that if you say you want it, you will have it. But if you believe that you have it, you have it. And the most people that already have what's going on have what's going on because they have what's going on. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So with that being said, I'm gonna play some more clips here.
When your final breath leaves your body, when the world of form dissolves, and suddenly you are free of weight, free of pain, floating in a vast and luminous expanse, what happens next? According to countless near-death stories, the first thing you see is a light, radiant, irresistible. It draws you closer. Loved ones appear, smiling, calling your name. A warmth fills you, and for a moment, you are certain, this is heaven, this is home. But the Gnostics would interrupt this scene with a warning. Be careful, soul, for not all that shines is light. According to their vision, what many call the afterlife is often the opening gate of the cycle. The tunnel of light is a construction, a luminous snare woven by the archons to recycle you back into the cycle of death and rebirth. The comforting voices may not be your ancestors at all, but projections, illusions crafted to keep you from questioning where you truly are. The Gnostic texts never used the modern phrase reincarnation trap, but they did warn that souls, if deceived, could be captured and cast back into new bodies. Why? Because the demiurge's system feeds on return. Each time you incarnate, you forget who you are. Each lifetime erases the memory of your divine origin. And while you struggle with pain, desire, fear, and distraction, the archons tighten their hold. In today's language, that is exactly what many would call a reincarnation wheel. Think of it as a cosmic game of hypnosis. The moment you die, you awaken briefly, only to be lulled back into sleep. Just as a dream fades when you wake, the memory of your soul's freedom fades when you return to the body. The Gnostic texts often describe this in symbolic terms. The hypostasis of the archons speaks of rulers who bind humanity in forgetfulness. The Apocryphon of John describes how the demiurge fashioned the soul's prison, surrounding it with layers of deception. The Pistis Sophia hints at the perilous journey of the soul through realms of judgment and false lights. And yet, ask yourself this: why does the light appear so irresistible? Why do souls return so willingly? Here lies the genius of the illusion. It appeals to your deepest longing. The longing to be safe, to be loved, to belong and be reunited with Source. What better bait than the faces of those you cherished in life? What stronger tether than the promise of reunion? But the Gnostics urged vigilance. They believed that beyond the false light lies a greater radiance, the true light of the pleroma, which cannot be faked. In their cosmology, that radiance belonged to the aeons, divine emanations of the source, streams of living light flowing from the pleroma. To know the difference between the counterfeit glow and the true light of the aeons was, for the Gnostics, the very key to liberation. The difference is subtle but profound. The false light dazzles and demands, while the true light awakens and liberates. This is why they spoke of gnosis, direct knowledge, inner remembrance. Because without awareness, how would you know the difference? And so the question deepens. If the demiurge's snare lures the soul with comfort and illusion, then how does the cycle of reincarnation actually unfold? What forces pull you back into the prison of flesh? And what role do karma and judgment truly play? Unraveling these questions may reveal the very knowledge the Gnostics guarded as sacred and open before you, the hidden path to freedom.
So the audio is choppy on the mic. I'm probably just going to only use that for other shit, but hopefully I can hear me more clearly now. Yeah, so I played another clip for y'all, and like I was saying before, I believe, matter of fact, what I know is everything is within as far as what you want, what you have, desire, all of that. Because we're all everything. Consciousness is everything. Awareness is everything. Like, you're just awareness, being aware. Well, that's the whole game. Once you become aware of being awareness itself, consciousness itself, then that's the whole game. Now you go back into the game, playing the human experience, understanding that you are more than that. You are a part of a greater purpose. That's the whole game. Still have fun. But if you understand what I'm saying, then you know that you are already one that I would say awoken in a disturbing dead land. Everybody has their own beliefs and believe what they want. And honestly, it's just whatever you believe to get you to your next point, your next goal. But there's a reason why this materialistic world is made, from what I believe, from what I know, that it's made as a whole distraction. And truly, I believe that you're supposed to be here to deal with the emotions, because actually, as us being God form, we don't have any actually emotions. So we're here with limitations, with certain emotions that at some point we're not able to control, till we get to a point where we can control them. We sit with them, sit with our thoughts, understanding that you're not your thoughts. You're just the thoughts that you want to be. And knowing that there's no true end game. The end game is for you to understand that you are it. You are what you're trying to strive for already. You're already that. You're already whatever you want to be. That basketball player, you're it. That football player, you're it. That millionaire, you're it. You want to be on a yacht, you have it. Did it already. You want to go skydiving, did it already. You want to travel the world, did it already. Do you see what I'm getting at? It's already created, it's already done for you in another plane. As far as you having fun in this plane where everything is already materialized, it's the cause that you're trying to affect, to have your effect. Your effect is here in the third dimensional plane, but you need the cause. Your cause starts with what? When you was born with the first cause, it was a thought. Before you was even born out your mother's womb, you was a thought. I do believe that the mind is God, in a way. Because I believe that God's within you. And the mind is way more powerful than the brain. I'm not talking about the brain, the human brain. No, fuck this vessel. Fuck this. I wouldn't say fuck the temple. But as far as what I'm speaking on, it's not about the vessel. It's not about this temple. It's about inner. It's about the mind, literally within you. And this is why so many maybe spiritual gurus may say meditate, meditate, meditate. But do they break down why you need to meditate or how can it help? Some people may just meditate and they say it may not help them. Well, this is why I said in the beginning of the video that if you do it for at least 30 minutes, sit in a secluded place with no music, no noise, nothing. Just sit alone for 30 minutes plus, and I guarantee you'll get what you want when it comes to meditation. It sounds easier said than done, but it actually is that simple too, because it's so simple for you to find within. You don't have to go anywhere. Just as long as you're in a secluded place, what I recommend, somewhere quiet, lights cut off, cut on, doesn't matter. You're in a comfortable position, maybe crisscross applesauce or sitting back, laying back, whatever the fuck. Eyes closed, and just let your thoughts come in for 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. Let them come in to the point where it's all clear and there's no thoughts being said at all. That's meditation. And then you can visualize whatever you want, you can think whatever you want, but it's after a while, it's gonna get quiet. He said, sit in silence and know that I'm God. That's basically what you're doing. You're sitting in silence until you hear God. I'm gonna play some more videos for you guys. I'm gonna let it play on and that'll be the end of it. I do appreciate you, everyone that has watched this video, everyone that will watch this video. Time is an illusion, but I will see you in the next moment. Goodbye.
If the first part of the illusion is seduction, the dazzling light, the false reunion, then the second part is entanglement. The Gnostics taught that after death, the soul does not simply drift freely. Instead, it encounters powers, the archons, who act as gatekeepers. These forces question, judge, and weigh the soul, not to guide it toward liberation, but to bind it more tightly to the cycle of matter. You've heard the phrase life review. Countless near-death experiences describe being shown their deeds, feeling their emotions replayed, and being told that they must learn more lessons. But here's the hidden question. Who is conducting this review? The Gnostics would say this judgment does not come from the true source, but from the counterfeit rulers of this world. Judgment, even when it feels like it comes from the soul itself, is still part of the illusion. By convincing the soul that it has failed, that it must return to correct its mistakes, the archons ensure the cycle of reincarnation never ends. Perhaps the real hell isn't fire and torment at all, but something else entirely. Perhaps the true hell is returning to earth again and again, reliving life without ever truly ascending. Think of it as a cosmic courtroom where the judge, jury, and prosecutor are all part of the same system. You are convinced of your guilt, sentenced to return, and told it is for your growth, when in truth, it is for their dominion. And what about karma? In the Gnostic perspective, karma is not divine justice, but programming, a set of cords and weights that pull the soul back into density. Each action creates echoes, yes, but the system is designed to entangle you in those echoes, to keep you orbiting the same loops. It appears as a school, but in truth, it is a cage. Here lies the radical departure from other traditions. Hinduism and Buddhism teach that reincarnation is a path of learning, ultimately leading to liberation. But the Gnostics flipped the script. Reincarnation itself is the problem. Liberation comes not by playing the game well, but by refusing to play it altogether. This is why they spoke of remembering secret words, hidden names, and divine seals, mystical passwords that allowed the awakened soul to bypass the archons. The first apocalypse of James describes how the soul, upon meeting these rulers, must not cower, but declare its origin in the realms of light. Only then can it ascend beyond their grasp. So here's the paradox. The cycle is maintained through ignorance, but the key is remembrance. The more you identify with the roles you've played, this body, this personality, this history, the easier it is to be recycled. But when you recall that your essence comes from beyond the stars, beyond the demiurge's domain, the illusion begins to falter and dissolve altogether. How many times have you felt déjà vu, as if you've lived this life before? How many times have you sensed that the world itself is scripted, looping, staged? Perhaps those are not just quirks of memory, or what people call glitches in the matrix, but ripples of the cycle, echoes of the trap itself. The question, then, is not only what the trap is, but how to escape it. How does an awakened soul navigate death without being drawn back into the wheel? The Gnostics believed the answer to this may be their most important teaching of all.